So, talking about children as a means of redeeming karma, I like to share a story. So, there's this man that has five children. He has two boys and five girls. Among his girls, he's particularly in love. It doesn't mean he doesn't love other of his children. He does equally. But there's a way his first child stands in his heart that to a point everybody, even the other children, even though they don't say it, would know. Because when every other person has issues with dad, they come to her and she settles the problem. Every other person, everybody, including their mother. But when she has a problem with dad, there's nobody that can talk on her behalf. She has to find a way to settle that problem. And this daughter is one that stresses the man most. In fact, in some cases, this man has said that he fears his daughter's anger more than every other thing, not even his wife's anger. And at some point, people have started saying, oh no, this man is going to spoil this child, he loves her too much. And, this girl, this lady too, happens to be one that would defend her father no matter what. She would talk for her father. It does not matter who is involved. Even if it's a case between her mother and her father, she is going to take the side of her father. This might seem to an ordinary person's ear as this is too much. This is a daddy's girl and all that. But something happened, something significant happened in her life. She started walking towards the spiritual life. She began to make findings, she began to read, she began to study herself. And along the line, during one of her consultations, she came to realize that she, in her other earth life, was a wife to her father currently. Her father currently happened to be her husband in the other earth life. In the other earth life, they had children. They had about five children as well with her father, who is her father now. This story is a funny one, but it's true. So, along the line, the her husband in the other earth life had to leave because they didn't come from the same place. So he had to go back home. He was invited to come for kingship. He was given kingship. He was crowned a king of their place, and then he had to go. She went with him, leaving the children because the children were already grown up. But she was someone who really loved her home. She loved her children, so she couldn't stay without her children. She came back and then she used to go and see her husband from time to time until the man died. So the man died not being properly loved and understood by his wife. Can you see how karma works now? He died first. And so when this lady's dad was born to her grandfather, who is the first son to this man, I don't know if you're following me. So he was named after his grandfather. This lady's dad was named after his grandfather. So when he had his first daughter, he named her after his grandmother. This he may have done out of love for his grandmother without thinking about it. So you see, names are spiritual inspirations. I keep telling people your name is not ordinary. Yes, your parents gave you that name, but you inspire them spiritually to give you that name. Names are not ordinary. So he named her his grandmother's name. without thinking about it, okay, because of the love he had for his grandmother. But along the line, so she had to approach him when during one of her consultations, she got to realize this information. She went to him and asked him, what is the meaning of your name? Whose name do you bear? Who are you? And the man, he is also a spiritual person. Even though from time to time his first daughter used to tell him that she feels like she's someone else in her body. But the man used to tell her that with time she would understand. So when she went to him to ask him, who are you? Outrightly, who are you? Tell me about you. Who are you? Whose incarnation are you? So that is the point he realized that she knows what he knows. And he laughed and said, you already know who I am. I don't think this is a conversation. And she went to her room and actually wept. Because the man that she avoided in the other life, she has come back to make sure to love him as a child. Reincarnation exists regardless of what you think or how you think it. And it does not matter whether you believe in it or not. In the wheel of faith, a child could become a mother. A mother could become a child. A child could become a son. A husband could become a son. It all depends on what both parties need to learn. She needed to learn love. She was someone, according to the story I heard, she was someone, this is real life story of someone that I know. She was someone she loved lightly. She would give out food and forget her family. She was so generous to outsiders. It doesn't mean she didn't love her home. She felt like pleasing other people was better than pleasing her family. But that is the very reason she came back to earth, and to become her husband's child. Just to learn how to love family more. See, little things that we think that are nothing can actually be the reason for which we reincarnate. And until we learn that one thing that might be seen so simple, one simple thing, spiritually is a big thing. Until we learn that thing, we cannot go back home. Here is not home, it's a school. We're here to learn, we're here to evolve. So your child could have been your relative, whom you did not do right, or who did not do right by you. And this lady is someone who had refused traveling abroad just because she said she cannot bear staying where she cannot see her father. And one would think that, she's a daddy's girl. No, it's not ordinary. Always remember that the physical is a manifestation of the spiritual, even when you don't see it. Every single action, even the leg that you kick on the road, everything is a manifestation of the spiritual. No child is a curse. Every child is a mercy. Every child is a way for you to learn, for you to teach. She came back to become her father's child, to learn to understand that spirit, to learn to love that spirit. And that man, his ascent is dependent on how much she loves him. Can you see that love in the spiritual does not matter? Whether it is a love between a husband and wife, whether it is a love between a father and a child, the most important thing is the sincerity in the love. It is mankind that has translated love into every form of evil. And this man is someone that would go to any length for his child. Even people know it's not something that he can control. Perhaps in the other life where they were husband and wife, he didn't do right by her. We can't see. It is a husband and wife issue. We can't see. But the wheel of fate has brought them together to right their wrongs as father and child. Every child that comes to you is a human spirit that has come to you because something links you together with that child. There is always something alike. There is always a tie. There is always something homogeneous. So today, I implore you, stop looking at your children as a burden. Not everything is not as physical as you think. The child that comes to you is what you deserve. That is the spirit that you deserve. Through your thoughts, through your actions, through your past life, through the things that you're supposed to learn and supposed to teach, through the karma that you're supposed to redeem. Every child, no matter the circumstances for which that child is born, is a blessing, is a mercy unto you and himself.